Hello, welcome to the video. Today we're going to take a look at 10 Pokemon that are one move update away from being meta. If you see my earlier videos already, I made a video about top 10 nerfs and top 10 buffs, and now we're going to take a look at 10 Pokemon that are only one move update away from becoming meta in the Go Battle League. Also, there was a video earlier on today about the new lineups for the Shadow Rocket Leader, where I said I might gonna take a look at the Armaldo. I tried to do that. I put every kind of move in that this Pokemon would be able to learn, that would be good for it. It is always garbage, just as an update. It's not going to be in this video, but yeah, this is going to be it for the beginning. If you want to subscribe to the channel, would really appreciate it. And we can move on to the first one, which is going to be Cofagrigus, currently running Shadow Claw, the Dark Pulse, as well as Shadow Ball. Big issue here, Shadow Ball and Dark Pulse have quite similar coverage. Both of them cover both the Psychic typing as well as the, Ghost typing as well. So we don't really need Dark Pulse in my opinion, and so I rather would have had some better coverage on this Pokemon, which would definitely make this meta. Here, in this case, you're going to add Grass Knot, which has the same amount of energy as Dark Pulse, so like timing wise it would be the exact same. Does a little bit more damage than Dark Pulse, 10 more damage, and gives you coverage for Grass type Pokemon, or like as Grass type move here, which is going to help you out against Water type Pokemon and Ground type Pokemon. And as you're going to take a look here as well, in the meta, actually, it looks really good already, like not gonna lie. While on the left side it doesn't really look too good. If you take a look at the meta matchups, this Pokemon actually has quite a lot of play. Grass Knot would give it definitely a little bit more play. As you're gonna see here, gonna gain up 3 or more wins and definitely going to help out with all of those water type Pokemon being around right now. Definitely good Hansen as well against like those Mud Boy Pokemon, and still kinda would be kinda balanced. Like 504 average rating is just a good Pokemon, like a meta Pokemon, but not an overpowered Pokemon. For example, I think Manta has a 560 average rating or something like this, ridiculous. So Cofagrigus would be a very cool Pokemon with the move Grass Knot, would help this Pokemon out quite a bit. Moving on to the next Pokemon, this is a Pokemon that learns a move that can only learn through breeding in the main CS games, but it is a move that this Pokemon can learn. Here we're going to take a look at the current standard moveset. It's going to be Counter, Mud Bomb, and Shadow Ball. He also has access to Sludge Bomb, which sometimes he would use. And yeah, the big issue here is kind of Mud Bomb is kind of a little bit of an awkward move on it. It's a good move on it, like don't get me wrong. But basically, what would be better is a 35 energy move. A 35 energy move would allow you to get to the move after 5 counters and not after 6 counters. And yeah, this would be Cross Chop. Cross Chop recently got buffed and is a stab move on this Pokemon. And it makes this Pokemon quite overpowered. Let's take a look at this one here. We're going to see average beta rating of 476, going to be a selection okay Pokemon to play. Like, it's not really a bad Pokemon to play at all. Here the Shadow variant, very squishy though, which is why most people are not running it, and also there are quite a lot of flying type Pokemon around right now, which is also one reason why a lot of people don't want to run this Pokemon. But as you can take a look here at what changes with Cross Chop, it is now definitely a very good Pokemon. Gaining 5 extra matchups and beating most of the current meta that's not flying type makes it quite ridiculous while not being overpowered either, mainly because a lot of the matchups are down to baits. Like here, for example, you all of a sudden win the matchup against Annihilate, which is definitely a bait dependent matchup, because if you think about like Annihilate is not gonna get a better matchup usually with Cross Chop. So like what happened here for Poke is that you bait with Cross Chop and then land a Shadow Ball afterwards to win this matchup in like the one shield scenario or something like this. And of course it's not going to work all the time, so it's not going to be as good as it shows here, but still it is going to be one of the strongest Pokemon now as well, while not having a lot of bulk, which makes it very easy to counter with like strong fast moves like Charm, like Dragon Breath, like even like super effective moves like Wing Attack, Mud Slap, Mud Shot, something like this. But yeah, definitely an interesting Pokemon. Also having a quarter weakness against Psychic typing makes it definitely balanced. And so let's move on to the Pokemon number 3, which is going to be a Pokemon that I just kind of substituted into this slot here. Like there was in before the Hisuian Electrode with Volt Switch, which in theory gets a little bit worse actually on paper. That's why I kind of want to get rid of it. Here, you can kind of substitute any kind of Spark variant of an Electric type right now. You can put Luxray in there, but I've already made quite a lot of videos in a similar style and I had Luxray already in there. Also, if you're missing some of the Pokemon, I talked a lot about those kind of potential updates already in other videos. For example, Turtonator would be a cool one that I just skipped out of here. There are quite a few other ones like Incinerate and the Arcanine would be kind of cool. I tried to make most of them at least unique and new. Some of them are going to be still duplicates from other videos, but yeah, kind kind of want to showcase some interesting ones for the new season. Here, Spark variant of Pawmot, giving it Volt Switch. Same goes for, again, for Luxray, for example, would make this Pokemon way better. Here we will see actually why I kind of want to choose it. Average rating right now of 344, still actually beating quite a lot of the current meta. But if you want to take a look at the Volt Switch, only gonna go up for like getting actually 7 extra wins is quite ridiculous, to be fair, but only getting up to 447 average rating is not actually that great. But if you then take a look at what it can beat in the meta, it basically beats the top meta entirely, which is kind of mad. So Pawmot actually has quite a lot of potential, having double stab, close combat, wild charge, 2 of the strongest moves in the game, is quite mad. And also it's kind of the same coverage as Registeel has, and of course Registeel is one of the best Pokemon. So yeah, this Pokemon is going to have quite a lot of fun if we ever gonna get a Volt Switch on it, which I still think would be balanced, but definitely would make this Pokemon meta. Lucario, one of our recent additions to Pokemon Go in terms of the Force Palm. Force Palm, new move on this Pokemon, completely unique to this one. I did actually not give Force Palm to any of other Pokemon in this video, which I thought of doing, but I made literally recently a video about Force Palm, so like there's no really reason to talk about this Pokemon again. But here we're gonna give this Pokemon another move, which you see most likely already on the thumbnail, which is Meteor Mash. This is a 100 damage move, I think, for 50 energy. Very strong move for sure. Legacy move for Metagross, but we already have this move on a Clefable right now. So Meteor Mash actually is going to make this Pokemon quite better. The thing is here, you already have some nice damage output with like Force Bomb / Counter, depending on what you want to run. The Thunder Punch is going to be great coverage against Pokemon like Azumarill, against like Flying type Pokemon like Mantine. But now Shadow Ball is great coverage against Pokemon like Annihilate, but a lot of times doesn't really hit all the targets that you kind of want to. And now having a stab move like Meteor Mash is going to help out quite a bit with that. Gaining 3 extra wins here and just being way better in a neutral scenario, because you A, need less energy than Shadow Ball, but B, also you do a little bit more damage thanks to stab being on it. This is going to be quite great for this thing here, and it will never be overpowered either. Boosting Steel type Pokemon in terms of the offensive power is never going to make them really overpowered, because right now meta is mainly water type Pokemon. Steel typing is resisted by water type Pokemon, and so it's barely going to be way too overpowered Pokemon in general, like no matter what kind of move you're gonna update for Steel types, unless it's Metal Claw. I know a lot of people want to see like Metal Claw getting buffed. For this move, it's just awkward that Zacian learns it, and if Zacian wouldn't learn it, like you could buff it way more, but Zacian would actually be quite good with a good Metal Claw. Next Pokemon, Galarian Moltres. Here we're going to have an addition that is going to change the moveset quite a bit. We have Wing Attack, great fast move, Stab fast move, Brave Bird, also good move, but of course a little bit risky and takes a little bit of energy with 55 energy, and Ancient Power, which is a mediocre baiting move. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna give this move Fly, like this Pokemon Fly. And of course with this, our charge move set completely gonna change to Wing Attack, Fly, and a different move that it learns as well, which I forgot the name of it, which you're gonna see here now anyway, but this is going to be the Galarian Moltres without any kind of change. And with the move Payback, which was what I forgot about, this Pokemon going to have now double stab, has the option to also beat something like Feraligatr, going to actually lose a matchup against Pelipper because you don't have Ancient Power, which is super effective against it, but just generally going to help you out with a lot of different kind of matchups where you can just have double stab and 2 very good nuke moves and have like basically a perfect moveset. You have like a good nuke move, you have a good cheapish move with the Fly, and you have Wing Attack, which generates energy quite fast. So Galarian Moltres would be good in all different kind of leagues with this moveset, so hopefully Fly will get added to this Pokemon, but we can move on to the next one. It's going to be Metagross. Metagross, already talked about earlier on with a Meteor Mash, is of course very cool, but definitely lags behind in the current Master League meta, and as like a Pokemon that is pseudo-legendary, that is usually a Pokemon that's easy to get, and also the next Community Day Classic, I kind of want to talk about this Pokemon here getting the move Psychic Fangs. Psychic Fangs, very cheap move, going to replace Earthquake on this Pokemon. As you can see, a very lackluster currently in the Open Master League, and so let's change it up a little bit. It is not going to be the most overpowered one still, but getting 5 extra wins and getting definitely more consistency into it is helping out quite a bit. And also you're going to have now the option to be bulkier in the normal and origin form, just going straight for the move of Psychic Fangs. And this is going to be quite a cool thing for it to do. And also just generally, it's going to be a little bit more consistent. Of course, you're going to give up some matchups as well. For example, the Dialga matchup, which can be a little bit tricky, but then again, you can also go for a guessing game don't even run Media Mesh at all and just go for Psychic Fangs and Earthquake, which actually I think would work out quite well. Yeah, would be also an option. So I feel like Metagross definitely deserves a little bit more love right now, and this would definitely help this Pokemon out quite a bit. Here we're going to have a repeat. I already talked about this before, but I really just want to see this Pokemon happening like this. We're going to have Ludicolo, current moveset, Bubble, Scald, and Leaf Storm. What would we add? Of course, Weather Ball. This is the thing as well, in Niantic give Weather Ball to Pokemon that are very weather related and usually to weather setters, but for example we saw already in Roserade giving it a Weather Ball Fire. This is because Roserade has the Chlorophyll ability, which is going to boost its speed in the main CS games if Sun is up, and also of course cannot correlate with the Weather Ball move because Weather Ball changes also when like a weather type is up. Here for Ludicolo we have Swift Swim, which is also going to be kind of the same as Chlorophyll, but for rainy weather, which is going to allow it to have access to Weather Ball Water. And of course, Weather Ball Water is going to make a huge difference for this Pokemon. It's going to allow it to have a cheap bait move now, together with Leaf Storm, together with Bubble, which doesn't generate crazy energy. It's actually quite a good Pokemon and a cool core breaker, breaking also the Lantern plus Mud Boy core, which is really important. And so let's take a look at this one here real quick. This Pokemon is going to be able to do quite a lot. Being able to beat Swampert, being able to beat Azumarill, but also now having a lot of more neutral play against like Pokemon like Skarmory and Annihilate, going to help this Pokemon out quite a bit, gaining a lot of average rating and plus 5 extra wins is really cool for it. So hopefully Ludicolo is going to happen with Weather Ball. I feel like it is a very balanced Pokemon and would be very good for the meta in general. Next Pokemon, I would imagine you never expected this one here. We're going to have Magmar. And honestly, like the moveset, Fire Punch, Scorching Sands, and the Karate Chop is looking already very decent. Karate Chop, by the way, is a fighting type move that is the same as Powder Snow, which completely is underrated because fighting type Pokemon are all running counter, and if they don't run counter, they are kind of, set aside. But Karate Chop actually a very good fast move, but there's a better fast move for fire type Pokemon, and it's of course Incinerate. Incinerate going to allow you to get to the Fire Punch after only 2 fast moves, and to Scorching Sands as well after 3. And yeah, this Pokemon actually is kind of insane. I would like to get Incinerate on all 3 of the family of this Pokemon. I feel like Magby has some potential as well with it, and also the last evolution has some potential as well, the Magmortar. And as you can see, currently kind of lackluster, 10 wins, 32 losses, but with Incinerate, this would change to 18 wins all of a sudden, plus 8 wins with that Pokemon, and beating quite a lot of the current meta, beating something like Skarmory, like the Annihilate, like Bastion even, which is interesting because of Scorching Sands. Something like a Mandibuzz even here, which is kind of cool, and just being a cool fire-type Pokemon that would have a lot of potential. And honestly, like I would like to see Magmar having a little bit of play in League Battle League. I feel like this would be very cool, but Incinerate definitely does make it overpowered, but definitely gives it play in the current meta, which would be really cool. Next one going to be Turtonator. Turtonator is going to have, also a repeat here kind of, Turtonator is going to have access to the move Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw makes this Pokemon definitely very strong, going to give it a bait move for the first time, which is definitely helpful. As you can see here, currently not great, 409 average rating is not great at all, but if you're gonna give it Dragon Claw, it jumps up to 532, like Fire and Dragon is a great typing, and giving it now a bait move as well, going to help this Pokemon quite a bit, especially with Incinerate already being on it. Also would have access to the move Shell Trap, but yeah, right now not in the game, so maybe in the future as like a maybe signature event, something like this, I don't know, but yeah, this is going to be it for Turtonator. Let's move on to the final Pokemon for today. It is going to be Kingdra. Kingdra is kind of similar to Ludicolo, having the ability of Swift Swim and also the option to learn Weather Ball. Here's one thing for this one. I'm kind of torn between this one. Like, it would be a very good Pokemon, which you can see as well if we want to give it a Weather Ball. But also, I feel like it is kind of the cool and signature thing of Kingdra to have Octazooka, which is like a very unique move. So maybe I would rather opt for buffing Octazooka a bit more than giving it Weather Ball Water, but it definitely would make a huge difference, giving it plus 10 extra wins, and just making it a very consistent Water type, Dragon type Pokemon there as well. Like, this typing itself is just very good, like you see it already in Palkia. Both, Fire and Dragon as well as Water and Dragon are great typings. But in general, this Pokemon would definitely benefit quite a bit from this move update. But again, I would rather see maybe Octazooka getting a little bit of a buff. But yeah, this concludes the first video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you later for the Shadow Cresselia review. So, see you then. Bye bye.